Excellent. Thank you, Peggy. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for us to take you on a virtual journey with the Discover Rosewood Educational Webinar featuring timeless Asia icons from this region. So my name is Jodie Clark, and I'm one of the Director of Global Sales for Rosewood Hotel Group based here in Singapore. I manage our relationships for clients across Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, and I have the pleasure of moderating this call today. Our presenters today, who we can see on the lovely webcam, we have Leanne Hucker, who's the Director of Sales and Marketing at Rosewood Bangkok, Simon Gilks, who's Regional Director of Sales and Marketing from Rosewood Hong Kong, and Rosemary Domdom, Cluster Director of Sales and Marketing at Rosewood Phuket. So thank you, everyone. So just some housekeeping. Please note that everyone will be on mute for the presentation today to ensure we can keep the sound clear. And we do encourage any questions to be directed to the chat box, and we'll answer these at the end of the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and a copy will be sent to you after the completion of the webinar. And lastly, you will have the chance today to win a 2-night stay at one of the properties that we're featuring today. So before we go into the individual hotel presentations, I wanted to take a moment to provide you a brief brand overview along with the footprint of our growing portfolio. I'll also touch base on our commitment to care policy as part of the new normal in health and safety considerations. So just to give you an update on the Rosewood journey, our journey began in Dallas in 1979 when Caroline Rose Hunt converted her family home into a hotel, which was the Rosewood Mansion on Turtle Creek. In 2011, the ownership changed to a Hong Kong-based company, and under the leadership and direction of Sonia Cheng, the CEO of Rosewood Hotel Group, transformed our company while embracing the founding philosophy, a sense of place, driving innovation and creativity in the luxury hotel space. Today, Rosewood Hotels and Resorts is known as one of the most progressive and innovative hotel companies with 28 hotels and resorts in 16 countries and a further 21 hotels under development. Each Rosewood property embraces the brand's sense of place philosophy to reflect individual locations' history, culture, and sensibilities through authentic experiences and unique journeys. From glamorous, historical, refined to exotic, Rosewood's collection of properties can curate a Rosewood journey to some of the world's most desirable urban, countryside, and beachside destinations. So just to talk a little bit about our portfolio, across the Americas collection, we have 14 properties in operation and 5 in the pipeline. We have locations from the quintessential New York location with the Carlisle, a Rosewood hotel based on the Upper East Side, over to the azure shores of the Riviera Maya with Rosewood Mayakoba, where you'll find the unique contrast of jungle, lagoon, and white sandy beaches of Mexico. Rosewood Sao Paulo is the next to open in 2021 in this region. This will be the first property for Rosewood in South America, and its location is actually quite unique in that the property is in a historical building located in a vertical park. We also recently announced La Guanahani in St. Bart's, which will open next year. Our European collection has 7 properties in the pipeline to complement the 3 currently in operation. Some of you may be familiar with the Rosewood London, which has become one of the iconic properties in London and has been a successful location from travellers from this region. Along with the legendary Hotel de Crillon in Paris, which reopened in 2017 after an extensive 4-year renovation. We also have Rosewood Castiglione del Bosco, which is in Tuscany, and they've actually increased their inventory by 19 suites to now have 42 suites and 11 villas, which will be finished for the opening of the next season. And you may have heard the recent announcements of a property in Madrid and Sardinia. So that was to the future openings within this region. So in terms of the Asia Pacific region, the opening of Rosewood Beijing in 2014 was the first to introduce the brand to the region, being a true reflection of Beijing, where ancient meets modern. Today we are going to focus on the 3 hotels presenting from this region. However, I do want to highlight the resort we have in Hoi An, which comprises of multiple Rosewood brands in an integrated style beachfront property, with the final resort within the development to open being the Rosewood Hoi An in 2022. So in response to COVID-19, Rosewood launched Rosewood Raise, which is our relief initiative to essentially support our global associates and communities impacted by COVID. Created this past May, it was based on the foundation of relationship hospitality to really assist those in need, whether they may be some of our associates' families that have seen financial difficulties or health-related needs, or within communities in which the hotels operate to support by housing medical workers or supplying necessities and meals to medical associates. In the first 2 weeks since formation, there was already $2 million pledged by corporate executives and associates. And there are some great examples from the hotels on the call today about how they assisted with their local communities. Rosewood is committed to continuing to identify and execute these future opportunities to support its associates and the global community through fundraising activities and community service projects in the coming years ahead. And obviously with COVID-19, Rosewood's commitment to care policy was created by local and international health experts. Obviously, the health and safety of our guests and associates, as well as the communities we reside, is one of the utmost importance. This comprehensive guide includes everything from screening our associates, specific hygiene and sanitation training, enhanced safety measures, and ensuring social distancing is being maintained. In addition to this, a health and safety manager role has been introduced at each property to really manage all of the requirements for the hotel, including government regulations, to ensure we're following all the standards accordingly. So the commitment to care policy can be found on our website, but we'll also share the document with the recording of the webinar following this call. And the hotels will also touch on some of the measures within their presentations today. So now I'm going to hand over to Leanne from Rosewood Bangkok to talk about her stunning property in a destination that I fondly called home for the past 7 years. Over to you. Thank you, Leanne.
Thanks so much, Jodie, and I'm delighted to present to you all Rosewood Bangkok, and thank you for joining us today. And we recently celebrated our opening in March 2019. And what is the situation in Thailand right now? This is a quick summary for you below. In short, the border is closed to commercial aircraft. Thais and foreigners on work permits are returning to mandatory quarantine for 14 days via repatriation flights. We will know more at the end of the month in terms of the overall outlook. However, we at Rosewood Bangkok have been fully operating in this domestic environment. Whilst the property did close for 3 months during the country lockdown, as Jodie shared, with Rosewood Raise, we launched Rosewood Bangkok on the move, with a clear commitment to care in delivering food, supplies and PPE to first responders across the city. Thailand appears to have remained relatively okay and we can move freely. We have already been wearing masks since January and simply wait for borders now to open. And when we do, we are delighted to welcome you or your guests to Rosewood Bangkok to an incredible new landmark in the heart of the city. This architectural marvel is designed in the shape of the Y, the traditional Thai greeting of welcome, and indeed, we have already made a statement to deliver a new level of Thai hospitality. Our location is directly connected to Plonchit BTS SkyTrain and a very quick 40 minutes from either Suvarnabhumi or Dongwon airports. Our direct connection to the expressway and the SkyTrain system allows your guests the ease of exploring the city and discovering what it's all about without being stuck in traffic. And we all know that Thailand's traffic, especially in Bangkok, is quite intense. However, the property really represents a private manor, and through these doors, it is a celebration of Thai artists whose works are installed throughout the property. There is an incredible level of detail and distinctive down to even the gold fleck in our reception and lobby to celebrate the traditional Thailand temples you would all be familiar with. We have 158 rooms and suites, which represents a private manor in the heart of Bangkok, where we can deliver a very high level of personalization and service. And the next few slides gives you a picture of our deluxe rooms, manor suites, and houses, where the residential styling throughout the property has captivating views across the city. And onto our F&B outlets, we have Le Corne, our brasserie that celebrates the Western and Thai dining throughout the day. Where we go up to our 19th floor is Num Bay for Peking duck of the north and seafood of the south. That has become one of the favourite award-winning Chinese restaurants in the heart of the city. And to one of my favourite spots in the hotel is our highest floor, which is Lenin's. Lenin's is our stylish speakeasy that brings to life over 6,000 vinyls through our live DJ, and the benefit of these commanding views across the city at the highest point of the property, but without being impacted by any rain or humidity. The Lenin's bar is incredibly popular, and while we were closed, we were delighted to launch a Spotify account so you could bring Lenin's home to you. And right next to our pool and fitness facility is our Green and Organic Cafe that really celebrates the fresh produce through our Partners in Province program. The fitness facilities really highlight the incredible architecture of this building and how it really elevates the entire positioning of this new landmark to celebrate Rosewood's entry into the Southeast Asian capital. And we have a number of packages online via our website, and I'm very much looking forward to welcoming your guests as our borders reopen. And now I'm delighted to introduce you over to Simon as we head over to Rosewood, Hong Kong.
Thank you, Leanne, and welcome to Hong Kong, everyone. I think when you think of Hong Kong, and nothing really speaks to the sense of place more than Victoria Harbour. And the Hong Kong skyline that you see up there on that picture. Rosewood Hong Kong is the anchor to the new Victoria Dockside arts and cultural destination where museum meets retail, which meets design, and which has really positioned Kowloon most recently as the go-to locale when you're visiting the city. First and foremost, just to touch base on where the city is dealing with COVID-19 situation. Since the 25th of March, all non-Hong Kong residents coming from overseas have been denied entry to the city. And those residents that are returning to the city are required to quarantine for 14 days. This is being constantly updated, and we are expecting some travelers, primarily from mainland China, Macau, and Taiwan, to be allowed entry in the short term. With a slightly longer term view for those coming from international markets outside of those destinations. There is also now a compulsory mask wearing throughout the whole of the city in any public areas or any places of work as well. What does this mean for the hotel? Obviously, we've been very much working in a domestic environment. And we have had some very strict policies in place within the business just to protect those guests that are staying with us. So next slide, please. So for arrival and departure, we have held the position that the hotel will never quarantine guests. We're not equipped to quarantine guests, and we won't put any of our staff members or our residents in any danger in doing so by taking anybody to quarantine. Anybody entering or exiting the building will have their body temperature checked. We also take, through reservations, we also take health declaration forms filled in prior to arrival as well. And all for the protection of our staff and our guests, everybody is instructed to wear surgical masks, and those are available, as well as hand sanitizers and care kits to any of the guests arriving at the hotel. As Jodie and Leanne mentioned, Rosewood Raise, we supported a very great local charity called Impact Hong Kong, where our team members prepared and delivered daily for one whole month over 150 lunch boxes to those less fortunate homeless in Hong Kong. And we've continued since May, we've continued the support of this through different activations. In June, it was through the sale of our patisserie, through Butterfly Patisserie. A meal for each piece of patisserie was donated. And through the last 3 months since we launched our mooncake sales, for every box of mooncakes, and we're targeted to sell over 10,000 boxes of mooncakes, for every box of mooncakes that are sold, we donate another one meal per box. We will continue that after mooncakes season is finished on the 1st of October, with Legacy House dining, and any guests that come to dine with us in Legacy House, we will donate on their behalf a lunchbox to Impact Hong Kong. Coming into our location, Victoria Dockside, as we mentioned, is where we're located. It's located on the site formerly known as Holt's Wharf. It was the global freight and logistics hub that dates back to 1910, and this site actually played a very big role in connecting Hong Kong with the rest of the world and making it one of the world's busiest ports. The plot of land that we're based on was acquired by Sonia Cheng's grandfather in the 1970s to build the New World Centre, which really positively influenced the development of Kowloon and TST in the 1970s and 80s. And for this reason, this is the reason really why this site means so much to the family and to Sonia, and really embodies that Rosewood sort of sense of place philosophy. Soaring over Victoria Harbour on the water's edge, 80% of our accommodations benefit from harbour views, and the remaining rooms have incredible views of Kowloon. Our hotel room starts on the 24th floor, which allows us to have incredible views, even if you're not facing the water. Avenue of the Stars, which is one of the most famous type of walks in Hong Kong and benefits from some of the best views, is located adjacent to the hotel, and the Star Ferry is just a 5-minute walk away. We're also connected to the MTR, right underneath the hotel, a walk through the mall and through into the MTR station. In regards to our arrival experience, throughout our properties worldwide, that sense of place that we reference is incredibly important, and I think the arrival really speaks to that. And you know, if anybody's familiar with our London property, you feel like you're arriving in a manor house in the city. If you're in Castellón de Bosco, you feel like you're arriving at a Tuscan estate. Here, Tony Chi, our designer, has really taken inspiration from both of those properties, and here you're transported up a cobbled driveway away from a bustling downtown Hong Kong into a blissfully type of quiet, manicured, vertical estate, which really sits on top of Victoria Harbour and has those skyline views of the city. Once in the hotel, guests are welcome and taken right up to one of our salons, which are located on each floor next to the elevator landing. Each salon's been uniquely designed by Tony Chi, and it's really an extra extravagance for guests, adding to the sense of residential estate, ensuring that guests feel the sense of space and home. And I guess the thinking here is that whenever our home is like our hotel is like a residence, and if you are arriving at somebody's home, you never step off a lift right into a bedroom. You always go into a social space first, and these salons really indicate and really should represent that social area. When you come into the guest rooms, all of our guest rooms are very similar in size. They're just located, and their views are slightly different depending on which side of the building that you're located. They're some of the largest in Hong Kong at nearly 580 square feet. And they have this truly residential design. You'll notice there isn't that normal hotel desk. What we have is that incredibly comfortable sofa and chair, which has a control panel next to it and a dining table that is a very comfortable desk, but also is great for admiring the views while having in-room dining as well. You also see some of that great little mini bar in the top, in the middle of the picture, which is a real Rosewood signature. When you go on to our guest room suites, we have 91 suites, so with the highest suite count of any property in Hong Kong. And Tony Chi really layers the design here even more so than the bedrooms. He really brings together the inspiration of both that sort of traditional British heritage and also that true to a Chinese type of heritage of Hong Kong, and really fuses them together. And I think it's even more marked in the suites over our guest rooms. All of our suites are located on the corners of the building, so they don't just have one view. They've got multiple views of the skyline. All the suites feature sort of lacquered walls, checkered rugs, luna piana, cashmere walls, and also very ornate grates as well. Our suite bathrooms take inspiration from our sort of regular bathrooms of the hotel, but they're even grander on scale. Every single room and suite in the hotel has double showers. Every single room and suite has the freestanding bathtubs with large double doors that can be opened up so you can appreciate the views of the Hong Kong skyline and the harbour as well. Talking about those 91 suites, within the 91 suites, we have 18 signature suites, and they all are individually decorated and have a different theme. They could be from our manor suite up to one of our 4 penthouses with duplexes on the 64th and 65th of each floor. But the largest and the most impressive suite is our harbour house. It's over 12,000 square feet. It takes up the entire 57th floor. In the next few slides, so I will walk you through some of those spaces. It has an English-style garden, which you can see very well here. And obviously 360-degree views, 2 swimming pools, one which is a type of infinity pool on the next slide right here. The only sad news here is that it's actually been rented for a 2-year period for somebody that wished to check in during the state of affairs right now. So it's something that we're sort of running a wait list for the very foreseeable future. On the next slide, you see Manor Club, which is our take on an executive lounge, but we really type of wanted it to feel more like a private members club with a truly elevated experience in terms of food and beverage. It also has an incredible wraparound balcony, which guests type of crowd onto during happy hour and during sunset to watch the views. That being said, on the next slide, you see probably one of the best seats in the house. It's the corner bar within the Manor Club area, which is connected to the pool room as well. But you can get to see and appreciate some of the views right there. Our restaurants and bars throughout the hotel really type of take on the ethos of the Rosewood brand. And when Rosewood thinks about type of restaurants and bars, we don't think about hotel dining. We don't think about what you normally expect from the regular hotels. What we really think of is what's the coolest collection of restaurants we could bring under one roof. What's the coolest street in Hong Kong where you could go dining and drinking? And we want to bring those under one roof. I highlight a few here, Darkside being the first one. This really takes inspiration from Scarf's Bar at our London property, Gentleman's Bar from the Carlisle, and Prohibition from Bar in the Hotel Georgia. And it takes inspiration from those globally, that sort of Prohibition style, speakeasy style venue with live music every evening. And it's named Darkside, which is the name of Kowloon from the past. What it features is a great cocktail list paying sort of homage to Kowloon's dark side and focuses on time-honored traditions, but really sort of updates them in an innovative way. The next slide highlights Butterfly Room, and it really showcases the connection to Victoria Dockside being that art, design, and cultural destination. The room in the background you can see there features 6 Damon Hirst a butterfly series, 6 of 12 that were made and around globally. It's versatile for everything from breakfast, very light breakfast, to an elegant lunch, pre-dinner drinks, but it's really well known for our famous afternoon tea, which is served daily. On the next slide, you see Henry. This is our steakhouse, but it's really inspired by Rosewood's first property, Mansion on Turtle Creek. It has sort of roaring wood-fired ovens and blazing charcoal grill, and great sort of impressive meat lockers. And it really pays homage to a time-honored customs of old school butchery and signature southern barbecue techniques. On the next slide, you see the newest destination within the building, which is Chat, which is our take on delicious sort of Indian street food and homemade classics, which we brought to Hong Kong. It's very unusual to find a sort of Indian restaurant in a hotel. And I think we have probably one of the first outside of India. It's really a must visit now for locals and for those guests that are staying with us and reservations are up to 2 months in advance. So it's definitely worth making a reservation when you're booking in your guests. And sort of lastly, just to highlight Asaya, which is our integrative wellness destination. It's close to 40,000 square feet, spanning 2 floors. It has 11 treatment rooms. It even has suites, 2 suites where our Asaya lodges, where guests can actually stay overnight and really sort of embrace wellness 360. It has an outdoor swimming pool and the most incredible gym. It's also, the scale of it's enormous. It is open to some external memberships as well as those guests staying with us. It really brings the type of the resort scale wellness to a city centre property that I don't think you can find anywhere else. And finally, just to highlight a couple of the staycation packages that we have. We very quickly, even towards the end of last year, became the destination for Hong Kongers to type of hang out during the time of lockdown. And we really have something for everybody, and you can see a couple highlighted here. Our essential staycation, which really looks at type of the dinner and a great sort of benefits at the mall, the K11 Mall, which is right next door to us or attached to us, to the ultimate Rosewood Escape, which includes Manor Club access as well. We also have staycation packages which are focused towards families, and also those focused towards those with pets as well, as we are very much a pet-friendly property. And that's it from Hong Kong, and I'd love to hand over now to Rose from Rosewood in Phuket. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon, and thank you everyone for attending today. As Leanne mentioned, Thailand is still on lockdown, so until further notice and until we get the green light, that's when we'll be ready to welcome you. But I am excited to announce that and reconfirm that we are opening on October 1st. We will reopen in phases. So we'll have a limited inventory for our pavilions and villas. However, every room category will be available. 2 of our venues, Takai and Mai, will also be opened, as well as Asaya, our wellness center, our Explorers Club, which is our Rosewood Signature Kids Club, as well as our fitness center and water sports. And as soon as we have any indication of more flights opening up, then we'll open the rest of our restaurants and our full room inventory. As Jody mentioned earlier, with the importance of health and safety, we are implementing Rosewood's commitment to care protocol. With our extended closure, we've had the luxury of time to do a very deep and thorough cleaning of the entire resort. But some of the protocols that your customers will notice is our welcome care kit, which will include a mask, wipes, and sanitizer, contactless services, which include check-in and check-out, guest temperature checks, social distancing in all the venues and public areas. This includes our group activities such as yoga, meditation, and boot camp. There'll be new sanitation practices in Asaya, as well as daily associate wellness checks. With Rosewood Rays, Rosewood Phuket closed at the end of March, and with that we had an excess inventory of food and drink. So first we assisted our team members who would be off during this closed time, but then throughout the months we've delivered over 750 care packages of food, vegetables, and fruit to frontline medical staff as well as local residents. For those that aren't familiar with our location, we are 1 hour south of the airport, but we're still in close proximity to all the major attractions on the island. So Big Buddha, as well as historic Old Town are a quick 20 to 40 minute drive depending on your location. With this resort map, you'll see that we are spread over 43 acres with 600 meters of beach. So if you start from the bottom of the picture to the top, you'll notice that the resort is tiered so that all the pavilions and villas will create a sense of privacy. And the closer you get to the beach, the better the view. So with our sense of sustainability, I'm very proud to say that we are LEED Gold certified. So what that means is that we're recognized for building sustainability. This means that we have our own water treatment plant, we have solar panels, and we repurpose and recycle materials. And I think the best example of this is Takai, our Thai restaurant, where we've actually taken materials from a local fisherman village and rebuilt that on the property. Another initiative that we have is the Partners of Provenance, where we have partnered with over 17 local businesses, suppliers, and markets to help provide them support during this time, and as well as our Coral Rejuvenation Project. This was a big project where we replanted coral gardens just in front of our reef. So to see that growth through this time is very exciting, as well as a benefit for our guests. So across the resort, we have 71 pavilions and villas, 3 event spaces, and 4 restaurants and bars, which I will talk through in the next slides. With our 71 pavilions and villas, there is a contemporary residential style with a resort twist. I can say that all 71 rooms have a private pool, and the rooms start at 130 square meters with a beautiful blend of indoor and outdoor space. So the difference between the garden pool pavilion, the partial ocean view pool pavilion, and the lagoon pool pavilion is just the proximity to the beach as well as the view. With our partial ocean view pool pavilion 2-bedroom, this is our most popular category. It's great for families. There's a spacious living area as well as a larger pool. With our villas, these are all standalone units with even larger pools. And the beachfront pool villa, beach house, and ocean house all have direct access to the beach. With the beach house and the ocean house, these units are almost 800 square meters with an extra large terrace. They each have a separate dining room, 2 bedrooms, a living area, and you also have the availability to hire one of our chefs to have a private barbecue in your villa. With our restaurants and bars, we have 4. So Red Sauce is our authentic Italian cuisine venue. And I'm pleased to say we have 3 Italian chefs, including our executive chef. So excellent dining there. With Takai, our Thai restaurant, it celebrates the 4 regions of Thailand that all have their distinct flavors. And that's a picture of Takai that I mentioned earlier with the repurposed materials from a fisherman village. We also have Shack, which is our casual poolside dining with fresh seafood, including oysters and some of the best ceviche you'll try, as well as Mai, which is our chic poolside bar that specializes in crafted cocktails with award-winning mixologists, and they offer light bites there. Guests can also have a more intimate experience with our chefs. So we offer cooking classes, Thai cooking classes. We also offer Italian cooking classes. You can also reserve a private barbecue in front of Takai's beach, as well as have a romantic dinner by the sea. For Explorers Club, this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is Rosewood's signature kids club, and it's probably one of the best kids club I've ever seen. There's no technology, there's no TVs, no video games, no tablets. But what it does do is that it gives the children interactive activities. And there they can learn about the Thai culture, where they'll learn traditional dancing or Thai weaving. They'll learn about the environment. So we've got herb gardens. They'll learn about ocean life and beach cleaning and recycling. And they'll also, there's also an option for cooking classes for the kids. So they can make cupcakes or pizza. As with Hong Kong, Rosewood Phuket also has an Asaya, which, as Simon mentioned, is our holistic approach to wellness. And so we've got a wellness consultant. We offer yoga and meditation, as well as we incorporate nutrition upon guests' requests. We also have our 24-hour fitness center and our infinity pool. With our event space, it's a 3-in-1. So we only allow 1 event at a time. And we have a courtyard, which acts as the pre-function space, the glass house, which can seat up to 220 indoors, as well as a lawn and garden area that overlooks the beach. We are quite popular for weddings. And as you can see in the picture here, it's the perfect setting for your special occasion. With our offers, I'd just like to quickly mention that any booking made by December 19th of this year for travel through October 31st of next year, all bookings will receive a USD credit of $100 per night. So for example, the branded More Rosewood package, it's a stay 3, pay 2. And even on the comp night, you'll receive a $100 credit. So a total of 300 USD resort credit to use on property during your client's stay. And last but not least, I'm excited to announce a Discover Thailand package where you can experience both Bangkok and Phuket with Rosewood. So if you book 5 nights at Rosewood Phuket, you'll receive 2 complimentary nights at Rosewood Bangkok. And your clients can use this either 2 nights pre or post stay, or they can split it and have 1 pre and post night stay. It's available as soon as we open, again, October 1st through next year, October 31st. Thank you very much. Back to Jody.
Thank you, Rose, and thank you everyone for those interesting presentations. I'm sure we cannot all wait to be able to travel again and visit some of these incredible properties and locations. We're now going to open up to questions. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Peggy to check if there's any questions we have received in the chat box. Peggy.
Yes, hi Jody, yes we do. I have a question here. Where exactly is Rosewood Phuket located? Which beach? Any complimentary shuttle to Kuta?
Kuta is in Bali, but we are just after Patong. So we're a 10-minute drive from Patong on Emerald Bay. As I mentioned, it's a 1-hour drive south of the airport.
Okay, next question. What is the difference between the river and city?
Is this for Rosewood Bangkok?
Rosewood Bangkok, yes.
Yeah. So the river has been sold for over 150 years as a destination because that is where the original 5-star ultra luxury properties commenced, and that's why it's so well known. And so the river now is still very much a part of life in Bangkok, but in terms of the ability to get around and to explore and discover the rest of the city, being based in the city centre and the ease of access to the transport is key. And so the river is fantastic to visit or to go on a cruise for sunset, but the idea is for your guest needs is definitely to stay in the heart of the city and heart of downtown to make it easy to get around and to the airport and explore.
Great. Another question for Rosewood Bangkok. Do you have a similar product similar to Manor Club?
We actually don't have a manor club. As we only have 158 keys, we represent the entire property as a private manor. And so the idea is that all parts of the property is reflective of a private members club.
Okay, another question. Wow, everyone's very engaged. This is great. Do you have a person at front desk who speaks in Japanese for which the hotel can help guests or even via phone? The participant didn't say for which hotel, so I guess all 3 hotels, please share.
Yes, we have Japanese speakers at Rosewood Bangkok.
We do in Hong Kong as well.
Not in Rosewood Phuket at the moment.
Okay. And then another question for Rosewood Bangkok, is there a kids club?
There isn't a kids club, but we do customize each suite or room with kids amenities if if we have families traveling. And so we also have a family package that gives a complimentary room attached to a suite that is set up with tents and playstations and games as a part of the family promotion that we have available at them online right now. Babysitting is also available.
More questions. When does the 5+2 offer for Bangkok and Phuket need to be booked by?
This is Rose. It needs to be booked by the end of September of 2021, as it's available until October 31st of 2021.
Great. It's an amazing offer.
More questions for Phuket and Bangkok. What amenities can we expect for honeymooners for the two properties?
From Phuket, guests or honeymoon couples will receive a complimentary couples massage, as well as a honeymoon amenity, welcome amenity.
And for Bangkok?
And that's similar, and we also do champagne service on the first arrival. So exactly the same as Rosewood Phuket. We have lots of honeymooners staying with us.
There was a comment about the 5+1 offer. That is a great offer. One question about Rosewood Phuket about Explorers Club. Is it complimentary for children?
It is complimentary. That's a great question. For kids 4 to 12 years old, so they have access to all the activities. The only thing that would be at a cost would be the cooking classes, where the children can make pizza or cupcakes. As well to note, children under 12, their extra bed or baby cot and breakfast are complimentary when sharing a room with adults.
Okay. One more question for Rose. What water sports are available at Rosewood Phuket?
This is a fun answer. We have kayaks, stand-up paddles, snorkelings, and a Hobie pedalboard. But we also have complimentary classes such as Muay Thai, yoga, and a beach boot camp. All of that is complimentary to our guests.
Great. Okay, question for Rosewood Hong Kong. Considering the hotel is located in Kowloon, what is the best way to get over to the other part of Hong Kong to Central in the Hong Kong Island?
Oh, good question. I mean, the nicest way to go over is by the ferry. It's about a 5-minute walk over to the terminal. It's almost free to get on it, and it really takes. They go literally every 5 to 10 minutes, so it's super convenient. Otherwise, obviously, a taxi or a house car can take over in a matter of 10-15 minutes. Or you've got the MTR, which literally, once you're on the train, takes about 5 minutes to get to Central.
Okay.
Lots of different.
One more question for Hong Kong. What are the shopping options near the hotel?
Good question, because Hong Kong's often about shopping. There's obviously a mall. There's many malls in Hong Kong, but the newest one is actually within Victoria Dockside. So K11 Museum opened last August, and I think has been, at the moment, probably one of the busiest malls in Hong Kong. What it tries to do is it has all of the usual suspects and the super luxury brands, but it's also mixed with about 40 dining destinations, obviously that type of art and that museum style influence as well. But it also has type of interesting brands that have never been in Hong Kong. So there's a lot of international, both Asian and sort of European and American brands that have never been in Hong Kong before, and now in K11 Museum. And you can enter that from both the 2nd floor and the 5th floor of the hotel. You don't even need to leave.
Great, thank you. One question to Rosewood Phuket, Rose. Is Indian cuisine possible at the resort?
Absolutely, anything's possible.
Great answer. One more question. How can I sell Rosewood against other luxury brands?
Thanks, Pete. It's Jodie here. I can answer that. So I think in terms of, how we sell Rosewood, hopefully the presentations today from the 3 hotels assisted, because for me personally, it's very much about that trademark philosophy, which is sense of place. So the unique thing I find for our properties is that each of the hotels is completely different, but they all have the foundation of that sense of place philosophy. So they're really taking on the community and the culture of the local destination. So whether you're staying in Paris, Tuscany, Bangkok, Hong Kong, or Phuket, you really feel like you're in the destination. So I think it's all about how different each of our properties are. Hope that answers the question. Was that the last question, Peggy, or is there anything else?
That's the last question. Oh, wait, one more question. Sorry, one more question. Is there a concept of a private butler service at the Phuket resort? Another question for you, Rose.
Yes, we provide butler service for all our villas and 2-bedroom units.
Great. Any other questions? Please type into the chat box. No more questions.
Thank you, Peggy. So I think we're just a little bit ahead of time, which is perfect. So I guess I wanted to thank you all for attending the call. Certainly, we hope that you found this of benefit. And obviously, in addition to our websites or contacting us individually, please do so. We're obviously here to support and assist in any way that we can. And we will be forwarding the webinar after this presentation. And we look forward to welcoming you and your guests to a Rosewood property in the future. Thank you for joining us and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.